And it says it's preparing the live stream.
Debbie, are you able to get in contact with Mr. Denton to make sure one way or the other?
I texted him. I'll call him if he doesn't answer here in a minute.
Debbie, are you able to get in contact with Mr. Denton?
Yes, I texted him. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Steve, I texted him. He hasn't responded, so I'm going to call him.
Okay.
But we're live now, so I'm going to mute myself.
We are, yes. Go ahead and mute yourself. Okay,
Jerry is trying to get connected.
I'm also going to record a backup copy of the meeting. With us streaming to YouTube, it should just capture that copy so we won't have to upload it later. However, I want to make sure that we do have it. So I've started the record now.
Thank you, Ashley.
Did Brandy get settled in too? Oh, am I still on mute? So,
No, I believe.
I'm here.
okay.
I'm
Hi,
in
Brandy.
Mr. Denton now,
Waiting on Mr. Denton. He said it might be a minute before you can get in there.
so I'm trying to get in right now. So
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
we can.
Okay, good.
Hi,
All
Jerry.
right. Hi there.
Yay.
All right, it's 5 o'clock.
Okay.
First, thank everyone for making the meeting today. Everyone arranging their schedules to make this work. First item of order will be to call the roll, please.
Okay. Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Next item, Dr. Vincent.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Allen. So this evening, I bring to you one item, and that item was actually instigated by the recent announcement by the CDC to lift requirements for many Americans indoors. And so after much discussion with the board, we determined to bring this item today. That will not, the item reads that we will lift the requirements to wear masks indoors. And however, based on our attorney's advice and the need to comply with CDC mandate, we will still require masks on our school buses. However, all students, if they desire, and staff members are no longer mandated to wear masks, is the way this item reads. I do have to also state that at this point, we don't have any plans next year to wear masks. I've received a few emails asking that. And with that, I will turn it over to our board president, Steve Allen, to lead this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent. Well, we can open it up for discussion amongst the board. Just for myself, I did notice that OSU made the same announcement yesterday with the requirement of masks on buses, which I do think with those federal items that attach to that are needed as well. If this is the pleasure of the board and the vote of the board, I think that's one item that must be a part of any of the decisions made. So open it up and any discussion, questions?
Quick question, in regards to the bus deal. I know, Steve, I heard you say something about federal, but I mean, from my understanding, the mandate, or not even mandate, the recommendation, let me make certain I'm clear on that. That's a recommendation from the CDC for public transportation, correct? There's not anything federally mandated. Am I correct in that?
Well, and Jerry, I'm not an attorney. I think Mr. Cockrell has looked into it as well. I've had conversations with the school's legal. I think there might be some conflicting, what's a mandate, what's asked to be required, what's recommendation. For me, I would err on the side of caution.
Sure.
Because of that transportation item. I'm looking at it through my lens, through Oklahoma State has required on their transportation. So I'm just not clear on if it's a federal or not, a mandate or a suggestion. So, and with the time that we want to have this meeting and make the decision, I personally would err on the side of following that myself.
And I'm going to speak because, the rumors have flew around all over the place and what people's opinions are. But the reality is the only ones that are mentioning it is in the CDC, and the CDC is acting like it's a mandate. But in order for us to get a true legal opinion, it'd take too long to go through a process, and we wouldn't be able to have the meeting tonight. So with that being said, instead of just going with he said, she said, let's just go ahead and move with what we can control today. And, my hope is to move forward with this.
Cool. Okay. Well, and the only thing that I'm in complete agreement with you guys. However, going into next year, I think it would be wise for us to, definitely kind of nail this down before we get into next year, especially on this, because I think that's where, with getting, you got to wear them on the bus, but not in the classroom or indoors or things like that. I think it's a confusing message that I think we just got to get some clarity around possibly.
Didn't we say we were following CDC guideline?
Yeah, we said that. However, CDC guidelines only said that they're recommending mask comes off on fully vaccinated individuals. So right there, we're not following the CDC guidelines, but the numbers themselves, I think we are looking at those, and for our area is how I feel like I've come up to, with my decision on how I'm voting. Because if we technically said we're following CDC guidelines, that's only for people that have been fully vaccinated.
Right.
Well,
I mean, that's the question we're probably we may get hit with. You said you were going to follow CDC guidelines, well, you're not, so how do we address that?
well, we said we would follow CDC guidelines up to the point where, unless we went into green, then we would be without mask.
Right.
I mean,
And we're not green.
That's not consistent with CDC guidelines. We're not green because when we made the reentry plan, we weren't getting guidance from anybody, and we made this formula ourselves. And the reality is, we'll never get to green unless people stop testing.
I agree.
So,
I'm just throwing.
You gotta have a
out
point
there
of
what we may run into.
Well, you gotta have a point of practicality. We're not saying that you don't have to wear them. We're just making it optional. I mean, that's what we're looking at.
That's the point I was making, is that yes, there are CDC guidelines, but we're also just going over the numbers in our area in Broken Arrow and for Oklahoma to make this decision too, not just a blanket statement of this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. We're looking locally.
And Brandy, if I can interject, I just urge, if anyone has any concerns, just continue wearing your mask.
Sure.
Right.
That's
There you go.
absolutely an option. And we will provide masks on the buses if kids forget them. So that's not going to be an issue. You're not going to get kicked off the bus if you don't have a mask.
Good.
So we'll have plenty of masks for our students. We only have 7 days left.
I know.
So
Yeah.
we can supply those.
Good. Good.
But we'll have a plan in place long before we start next year on what those procedures will be. But at this point, there's no plan. We had, as of Friday last week, we had 3 total positives for the entire district.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's remarkable.
We had 3 employees and 3 students. So 6 total for the entire district.
Still, I think that's remarkable. I mean, that's really good results as well. And I'm feeling comfortable with what we're doing. All right. Well,
and our hopes are those parents that feel comfortable immunizing their students will go ahead and take them now that it's available for those 12 and over. But we understand that everybody, as a parent, you have the right to choose what you want to choose for your child.
Right.
We just want to give options here.
Dr. Vincent, I appreciate that, because I think that's one thing that I'm proud of, the work that you and your leadership team did with the reentry plan. And I'm very proud of the board that we did provide for our parents at school, so we could have the most normal senior years for our seniors. So we are, with the vote today, could possibly, again, putting that back into the parents' hands to have their option of what they would like to do for their child. So
yeah, I think that's such a key point that, hats off to the team, hats off to you, Janet, with your leadership team. I mean, to me, I look around the state and I'm proud to say that, we put together something to try and get kids back to some element of normality, getting back into a classroom. And I think we did everything, it was an evolution of decisions that really we didn't have a whole lot of information and stuff to go on. So, and there were definitely no precedents. There was nothing historically that you can look back at to compare this to. And so, again, I'm proud of the plan that was developed, proud of the plan that was executed. And now this is just step 2 of what we've done. So to me, I think it's great leadership that has driven us to this point, and being able to allow us to make this decision at this point is a win.
Well, and that's thanks in part to the board's support, because we can bring recommendations, but we can't do anything without your support. So we thank you for that. It's been a very difficult year, but I am proud of the work, especially my team has done. We have amazing people in our district.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, any other points or anybody got anything else to say?
No, I would also just say that, I've received a lot of emails on both sides, and I just don't want anyone to feel like the squeaky wheel got the grease on this, because I know that there's so much passion out there on both sides. And, we just have to do, what, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just don't want people to say, well, why did they listen to them and not them? Or why did they listen to them and not me? And that's not what it is at all. And we have to just take it as we're given, and we're looking at our numbers. We've looked at them every single week since school started, and we're finally at a point where our numbers make us feel comfortable with
Agreed.
it.
And I think you keyed on something that is options. We're giving every single parent an option that they can choose, not the school board, not us, not the teachers, but it's the parents that can choose. And honestly, to me, that's, I think that's the right step. When I agree with you, it's not that we've listened to one group or the other. It's a matter of taking into account every bit of information that we have. What's going on today? Where are we today? What does it look like for the future? And what does it look like for Broken Arrow? And period. Broken Arrow. That's what it is. So, I mean, I appreciate you calling that out, because honestly, that's how I feel too. So
And
with
Jerry,
that, I'm comfortable.
To your statement, Jerry, we have remained consistent on the options for our parents. So I think this is whatever decisions made today is right in line with that as well, if the decision was made.
Yep, agreed. Well, I'm ready for a motion if y'all are.
All right. I make a motion to change the district's 2020-21 reentry plan regarding the wearing of masks by students to make it optional at all school sites.
Do we need to put in there pertaining to transportation within your motion, John?
No, because I just sites.
Well, and just to be clear, the vote is for student, staff, and or visitors. Just to be clear, because I know you only said students, and I know that may be trivial, but just to be clear.
I agree. You want me to
let's go ahead and restate the motion, please.
Okay. I make a motion to make the changes to the district's 2020-21 reentry plan regarding the wearing of masks by students to be optional at the school sites, which include all student personnel and staff and teachers at these locations.
Second that.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Majors.
Got a motion.
Mr. Cockrell.
Got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Okay. Any more discussion or comments before we adjourn?
Great
Not me.
conversation.
Yep.
Okay.
right.
Mr. Allen, may I make one quick comment? I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
I want to thank our community and our parents and the board and everyone involved for their patience and grace they've given us this year. This has been a tough year, but we are finishing strong. We just won a 6A soccer championship for boys, and we have graduation this week. So there's a lot to celebrate.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Janet, real quick while we're here, just if anyone's watching, I know this just came up. I know we have graduation on Wednesday.
Yes.
Announcement of contingency plan of that while we're
Sure.
online.
So the plan is, and it was this plan from the very beginning, the reason we've set it on a Thursday is that if we had parents who are coming into town for the ceremony, that we wanted them to be able to still attend the ceremony if we had to delay. So we'll just go to the next day. So if it doesn't happen on Thursday because of rain, we'll try it on Friday. If it doesn't happen Friday, we'll try it on Saturday, and so on until we can get it finished. But I'm going to speak it into existence that it's not going to rain Thursday.
There you go.
So,
Let's hope not.
just to be clear, what day, just to be clear on the graduation, because I know Mr. Allen said Wednesday and then you said Thursday.
Sorry.
All right. No, it's all right. Just being clear.
The 20th. my apologies. So
Thank you, brother. You're doing great.
any,
Debbie will send you an invite.
Okay.
yeah,
Steve just wants to get there early so he can get good seats.
that's right. That's right. We're going to have a full house this year.
It is. It's going to be a beautiful day. Nice, cool breeze. Dry as ever.
Love it.
That's
All
gonna
right.
be 90 degrees and muggy and raining.
As long as we can have, I'm fine with it.
Yes,
And
for
so for the professional attire, I know just to clarify on that. And I know last year we had difference of attire, but I mean, we're talking like slacks, dress shirt. Are we wearing ties? Okay, just wanted to be sure.
And no flip flops for the students. We don't want anyone tripping and falling.
Nick,
I don't know. if we'll do
Brandy,
that.
talk about
Sorry,
it.
Brandy.
I'm not gonna be behind you this time to catch you, so.
All right.
Right on. All right, guys. Thank you very much. So make
Thank
a
you.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Motion a
Yeah.
second. Call the roll.
Mr. Majors,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Ms. Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.